What's up, everybody? I am live. Gonna get things started away because the CFP ranking show is about to announce this week's rankings. We're gonna start with that. Then I'll roll the intro song, and then we'll get into actual episode, which is gonna include a little extra for me this week. Point that I've realized I want to share with everyone and hear everyone's thoughts on. But meanwhile, just going to get things set up and we will be ready to go. Hope everyone's day is going well. Hope all is well with everyone. Yeah. "102 episodes. Crazy to be saying. They haven't started the rankings yet. I also haven't made my thumbnail yet, just because I kind of hurried to start. So I'm going to make it later and I'll upload it later for this week's episode, if I remember. But I guess just to give a quick college football recap, there wasn't really much missed. The only crazy things was Florida State's quarterbacks out for the year. They still beat North Alabama. 58-13. Alabama was up 13-0 at one point. Michigan barely survived Maryland for their 1,000th win in their program history, 31-24. Clemson upset number 20 North Carolina 31-20. And New Mexico State, even though this doesn't affect the rankings, it's crazy that this happened. New Mexico State upset Auburn before the Iron Bowl 31-10, which the Iron Bowl is this week. And this week is rivalry week. I also forgot to add to that thumbnail MLB awards, the ALCYA and MVP results. But first things first, we've got the college football playoff rankings, which should be coming out any moment. But I expect not much. I don't think, if any change is going to happen, maybe Florida State because of their quarterback. But really, aside from that, not much is going to change within the top four. It's more what changes below. James Madison also lost to Appalachian State, they were ranked last week, so they might drop out, but we'll see. Rankings is about to begin, I think. If I'm even reading this right, but then again, they could just be still chit-chattering. I do not have volume on because of copyright reasons. If I could, I would have it on, but just because of copyright, I do not. Okay, here we go. Number 25, newly ranked, is Liberty. Number 24, newly ranked, Clemson. Number 23, newly ranked, Tulane. Moving up, or not newly ranked, moving up from 24. Number 22 is NC State, moving up, newly ranked. And number 21, moving down from 18, is Tennessee. That is 21 through 25 in revert from 25 to 21. Also, I was going to start the episode earlier today, but I had kind of a headache when I got home from school today, so I wanted to relax. So that's why I didn't do it earlier. I guess probably better I do it now anyways. Or start it earlier, I guess. All right. Number 20, moving up from 23, is Oklahoma State. Number 19, moving up 2 from 21, is Kansas State. Number 18, moving up from 19, is Notre Dame. Number 17 is Iowa, moving down from 16, which I think they won this week, so that's a bit odd. Number 16, moving down from 12 is Oregon State. Or 11, sorry, is Oregon State. That is 20 through 16. Moving down 5. Okay. Pretty sure Iowa won this week. So it's kind of interesting that Iowa. Well, am I incorrect in that? Plus, they clinched a conference championship game spot. Yeah, they won 15-13, which I mean, struggling against Illinois, but that's their story all years. They struggle on offensively. Number 15 moving up 2 from 17 is Arizona. Number 14 moving up 1 from 15 is LSU. Number 13 moving up from 14 is Oklahoma. Number 12 moving up 1 from 13 is Ole Miss. Number 11 moving up from 12 is Penn State. Of course, with the East, it all depends on Ohio State, Michigan this week. The game to decide who will be representing the East in the Big Ten Championship game. But it will be Iowa for the second time in 3 years, going back to 2021, where Michigan pounded them. I'm pretty sure even Oregon State won this week. That's a lot got moved because of the injury for Florida State. That one makes sense. Oh, no, they actually lost. Oh, right, because they lost to Washington. Right. Makes sense. Never mind. Got pounded by Washington. Or maybe not pounded. I don't know. They lost to Washington. Just waiting for them to keep on going. And the question is also, if Florida State's falling, how far are they falling down with this injury? And they have had that before. Alabama had that a few years ago with Tua. But then again, they had lost at that point, so that also had affected their ranking. Now it's 2019. They lost in the Iron Bowl that year and didn't make the CFP. That was the year LSU's dominance, for context, and that was Alabama's first loss that year. But come on. Who's number 10? Oh, yeah. Also, former MVP, Cy Young Award winner, and closer for the 1984 Detroit Tigers, Willie Hernandez, passed away today at the age of 65, I believe. Number 10, from staying at 10 from last week, is Louisville. They've been pretty hot recently. Might have even clinched a spot in the ACC championship game. I forget. But they are been pretty good recently. Who is number 9? Is Missouri. Still. Interesting. Who is number 8? Interesting, New Mexico State didn't get ranked after their big win. Then again, it was against Auburn. Interesting. I don't know. Number 8 is still Alabama. Okay. So I expect Texas will probably be 7. And now just the question is, what is 6 through 1? Which a lot will stay the same, but there will also be a lot different at the same time. I'd imagine if Florida State's going to be out, then it'll probably be Washington 4. Because they're still undefeated, whereas Oregon isn't. They lost to Washington. Is 7 Texas? Yes. 7 is Texas. So 10 through 7 is still the same. To no surprise. Unless somehow they're going to flip 1 and 2 again, which would just be nuts and wouldn't make sense at this point. Now, if Ohio State were to go dominate Michigan and Georgia doesn't dominate their opponent this week, which I think is Georgia Tech, that's one thing, and fine, I can understand flipping maybe, but I doubt they're going to flip 1 and 2. Because really, for Georgia, their next toughest opponent is going to be SEC championship game against Alabama. They're going to be real hungry. Because beating them would help them make college football playoff chances better, and a chance to beat Georgia with how hot they are. They've already revealed 6, interesting, still being Oregon. So that confirms Oregon wouldn't be for Florida State is out. Question now is who's 5 and who's 4? And then we're going to take a break to analyze the 25 through 6. Interesting. I'm going to actually, meanwhile, while we're, I'm going to hold off. I want to hold off on much of the other stuff till top 5 is revealed. Because then we're going to actually get into this week's episode. This is just more I wanted to get straight into it since this is time for rankings. And 2 more rankings, by the way, after this week. I'm also going to be going to a hockey game coming up because it's also part of a career fair, which could help me towards trying to find a job in the future. At New York Islanders UBS Arena, December 19th. Was able to make it work with classes and bought a ticket today. Oh yeah, and Michigan scandal keeps getting crazier by the day. Now there's a whole Uncle T who I don't know, is a whack. I don't even know what to make of the whole Michigan scandal anymore. It makes me more hungry to watch Ohio State. I mean, I won't be able to watch it live, but to end up seeing after Shabbos or Sabbath that Ohio State won. Honestly, I don't even need them to. I mean, blowout would help their CFP chances. But I don't need them to blow out. I just want them to really win. Blowout would be nice because the whole scandal and stuff, but I just want to win. That's what mainly matters to me. Not losing 3 straight. And yes, I'm aware it's in Ann Arbor. It's at Michigan Stadium, but they've won there before, and they can win there again. Okay, top 5. Who is number 5? Oh, they're starting with 1. So 1 is still Georgia. Makes sense. 2 is probably still going to be Ohio State. Unless for some reason they're flipping before the game, which would be dumb and stupid. If anything, Ohio State has the case to stay up higher with their dominant win over Minnesota, whereas Michigan struggled with Maryland. And beat Maryland less than Ohio State beat Maryland. Who is 2? It's still Ohio State. It's most likely it's going to be 2 versus 3 for the game on Saturday between Ohio State and Michigan, or TCU and that team up north. Not really much to talk about between 1 and 2 and 3. It's really 4 and 5 where discussions come up. Yep, 3 is TCU and Michigan. So now the question is, did Florida State drop out because of the injury, or are they still in the CFP for now with their undefeated record? I can see either way, really. By the way, I'm not going to do a live reaction to the final rankings because they drag out that show way too much. Plus, it's on a Sunday during football. Underrated, I actually might be at a football game that day when the rankings come out. I'm just realizing. I'm going to Jets Falcons December 3rd, and I think that's when the final rankings will be. I could be wrong. Might be even missing Browns game this week because I'm going to Florida for Thanksgiving. And the rankings do change. Washington is 4 and Florida State is 5. I am not surprised. It honestly makes sense. Florida State does drop because of the injury. Now that the playoff rankings part of this episode is done, let's get actually into this week's episode of the podcast. Whoops. Make sure you... What's up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of BITBE102 podcast. On this week's episode, we've got the ALCYA Young Award winner with MVP winners revealed. We've got NFL Week 11 recap with Week 12 predictions, and we've got college football. We already did college football portion, and plus an extra part to MLB this week. All coming up. Let's get right into it. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to episode 102 of BITBE102 podcast. Thank you so much for the support to this point. I very much do appreciate it. Let's start off with MLB because then I can lead it right into my point I want to make. So, ALCYA Award, of course, as I reacted live, was Blake Snell, not unanimous, which was kind of surprising, especially because ALCYA, which was also announced by Greg Maddux, went to Garrett Cole unanimously, which was kind of surprising. I mean, he was very good, but the other two candidates had a very good case also to win, so, I don't know. But either way, Garrett Cole was unanimous. Sonny Gray was second. Kevin Gausman was third. And the last Yankee to win AL Cy Young Award was Roger Clemens / Rocket in 2001. Last AL Cy Young Award to be unanimous was Justin Verlander last year. So, they didn't mess up through the Cy Youngs. MVP, American League, the big question was injury going to be a factor? Well, first of all, it was revealed by Reggie Jackson, a.k.a. Mr. October, which at first I was like, he has a connection to Seager because both have won 2 World Series MVPs. He has a connection to Simeon because both are former Oakland A's. And at first I was like, but he doesn't have a connection to Ohtani. And I realized, oh wait, he was part of the 1982 Angels. And it was Shohei Ohtani unanimously, first to ever be unanimous for MVP twice. Was also unanimous in 2021. Seager was second, Marcus Simeon was third. It makes sense, had a great year. The biggest question was going to be injury, and of course it wasn't a factor into the voting. But congrats to Ohtani, well deserved. And National League MVP, which was announced by the Secretary / Treasurer of the BBWA, Baseball Writers Association of America, Jack O'Connell, was indeed Ronald Acuna Jr., who was also unanimous. Mookie Betts in second, Freddie Freeman in third. So that is how all the awards were given out. A Hall of Fame is going to be in January, and we'll focus that closer to that ranking, January 24th, or revealing. But that is it for MLB awards. So now I want to get to a separate point with MLB. I was thinking of this point recently. So, of course, Braves have had this run of winning the division and making the playoffs for every year from 2018 to 2000 till this past year. Win the division, make the playoffs. 2018 lost in the NLDS, only won 1 game. 2019 won 2 games, could have even won in 4 games, but lost it because of the infamous NLDS Game 5 at home first inning. If you don't know, I'll look it up. It was basically a 10-run inning by the Cardinals, and that was all she wrote for that Game 5. 2020 blew 3-1 series lead and lost to the Dodgers in the NLCS. 2021 won the World Series. 2022 lost in the NLDS, only won 1 game, and this past postseason only won 1 game. Now, for context, before I throw this point into comparison, they also had a similar stretch from 1991, not including 1994, where the season wasn't completed, and you could even make a case they might not have even won the division, or they would have won the division, but maybe not a crazy run, because the 94 Expos that were a very good team that year. From 1991 to 2005, where they won division pretty much every year of a full, actually counting season. 1991 made the World Series, lost in 7, one of the craziest World Series of all time. 1992 lost to the Blue Jays. 1993 made to the NLCS, lost in 6 to the Phillies. 1994 season didn't complete. 1995 they won the World Series in 6 over Cleveland. 1996 made it to the World Series. Were up 2-0 after winning first 2 in New York, heading to Atlanta in Atlanta Fulton County Stadium, and got reverse swept, including losing the final game in Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. 1997 ran into the Miami Marlins, the Florida Marlins, that won the World Series that year in the ALCYA. 1998 they ran into the Padres, where they almost came back from down 3-0, but lost in 6. 1999, they almost blew 3-0 lead, but won against the Mets in the NLCS, but got swept by the Yankees. 2000 met the 2000 Cardinals that beat them in the NLDS. The Cardinals would not win in the NLCS. The Mets met the Yankees in the World Series for the Subway Series and lost. 2001 lost to the 2001 Arizona Diamondbacks. 2002 met 2002 San Francisco Giants, who made it to the World Series and lost. 2003 met 2003 Cubs, who they lost to in the NLDS, and the Cubs would lose in the NLCS for infamous reasons. 2000, which was Bartman incident. 2004 and 2005 made it to the NLDS against the Houston Astros and lost both. So now I'm starting to wonder, is this Braves team going to have the same tag as that 90s to 2000s Braves? That they have a great run, win all these division titles, get in the playoffs all these years, just to only win one World Series. Now, the biggest difference, of course, is the Braves made more World Series at this point than the current Braves, because the current Braves have only made one World Series versus that time. 91 they had made it, 92 they had made it, 93 they didn't, 95 they did, 96 they did. They had made 4 World Series at that point, not including 94, which, even if you don't include 94, still 3 World Series made at that point to 1, where they had won, but also had won, but also lost. So, are they bound to have that similar tag? That's a question that's spinning my mind. I don't think it's crazy to say. I want your input in the live chat or comments below, whether you're a Braves fan or in general baseball fan. Do you think I'm crazy to say that? Do you think I'm not crazy to say that? Do you think that maybe that could be the tag? Maybe they already have that tag. I mean, that's what I'm questioning, because that's a legacy that 90s 2000 Braves team has. Is all these division titles, all of these playoffs, just to only have one World Series. And really, they probably should have won 96, because they were up 2-0 heading home. 2-0 heading home, which you hardly have in baseball and postseasons in general. 2-0 heading home, not 2-0 heading to Yankee Stadium. 2-0 heading home, and you blew it. Which Game 4 is the most infamous of that 3 games in Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. But 2-0 heading home, and they blew it. So I'm just wondering, are they bound to get that tag? And I would hate to say that they do for Braves fans' sake, but there's part of me that thinks they might. Let me know what you think about that in the live chat or comments below. But that's it for baseball for a while, until the Hall of Fame results come out in late January. The ballot did come out, but really, honestly, I'll probably make some predictions later, and I'll just reveal the ballot once I go over predictions. Anyway, so NFL Week 11, which was a very interesting week. With 34-20, Bengals lost to the Ravens on Thursday Night Football. Cincinnati's now lost 14 straight primetime road games, which is general, not just Thursday Night Football. I think also includes Sunday Night and Monday Night Football. Browns beat the Bengals 13-10 after almost completely blowing a 10-0 lead on 34 game-winning 34-yard field goal. I did post an immediate reaction to that on Sunday. If you haven't checked it out, go check it out on the YouTube channel under Shorts. Would be the most recently uploaded short. Commanders had 9 sacks against the Giants, and yet still lost 31-19, which is crazy to even say that. That's even possible. Rams came back from down 13-0 and 16-7 to beat Seattle after Jason Myers missed what could have been a game-winning 65-yard field goal. And with a 32-6 win over the Jets, Buffalo's now won 4 games this season by 26-plus points, which is tied for most in team history with the 1992 Bills, who lost to Dallas, which was the first of 2 losses to Dallas in Super Bowl 27, 52-17. And with 21-20 victory over the Vikings, Denver's won 4 straight games for first time since 2016. And things to come back from down 17-7 at half, and Marquez Valdez-Scantling dropping a wide open 51-yard touchdown pass from Patrick Mahomes. Philly avenged Super Bowl L over Kansas City, winning 21-17. Jalen Hurts, neither quarterback even did spectacular, which for reference, Jalen Hurts, 14 for 22, 150 yards, no touchdowns on pick. Patrick Mahomes, 24 for 43, 177 yards, 2 touchdowns on the pick. They were both struggling in half. I mean, Mahomes kind of picked it up, but neither quarterback really did superior in the past game. Hurts really was running, led the comeback more in the run game. But that is the Week 11 recap. Week 11 predictions. I went 10-4. Overall, I did not update that. I am realizing. I'm 164 in predictions this year. Standings update. In the AFC East, Dolphins in first place at 7-3, followed by the 6-5 Bills, followed by the 4-6 Jets, followed by the 2-8 Patriots. In the AFC North, the Ravens in first place at 8-3, followed by the 7-3 Browns, followed by the 6-4 Steelers, followed by the 5-5 Bengals. Can't believe I didn't fix that before. Anyways, AFC South, Jaguars in first place at 7-3, followed by the 6-4 Texans, followed by the 5-5 Colts, followed by the 3-7 Titans. In the AFC West, the Chiefs in first place at 7-3, which, yes, the Browns, the Jaguars, the Dolphins, and the Chiefs all have the same record. The Ravens have the best record in the AFC right now, and the Browns have scored more than the Chiefs, and they've had a lot of injury problems, including now Rodney McLeod is out for the rest of the season. He's a safety for the Browns. But they're at 7-3, followed by the 5-5 Broncos, followed by the 5-6 Raiders, followed by the 4-6 Chargers. That's for the AFC and the NFC. Starting the NFC East, the Eagles in first place at 9-1, followed by the 7-3 Cowboys, followed by 4-7 Commanders, followed by the 3-8 Giants. In the NFC North, Lions in first place at 6-2, followed by the 6-5 Vikings, followed by the 4-6 Packers, followed by the 3-8 Bears. In the NFC South, the Saints in first place at 5-5, followed by the 4-6 Falcons, followed by the Buccaneers, followed by the 1-9 Panthers. And then the NFC West, the 49ers in first place, 7-3, followed by the 6-4 Seahawks, followed by the 4-6 Rams, followed by the 2-9 Cardinals. That is the standings update. And now for predictions for this week's episode. Let's start with Thanksgiving games. Packers at Lions. I have the Lions. Commanders at Cowboys. I have the Cowboys. Niners at Seahawks. I have the Niners. This probably won't be much of an interesting Thanksgiving games. We have a Black Friday game, which is Dolphins at Jets. It's going to be Dolphins because the Jets are not even using Zach Wilson anymore. They're going to Tim Boyle, third string. And then Sunday, Saints at Falcons. I have the Saints. Steelers at Bengals. I have the Bengals. Well, here's the thing, because now Joe Burrow and Mark Andrews, by the way, are out for the year for respective teams, being Bengals and Ravens. Well, Pittsburgh's falling on its feet right now, but they also did fire Matt Canada. I want to see something. Most people I'm actually going to change my pick to Pittsburgh. I'm picking Pittsburgh this week over Cincinnati. Panthers at Titans, I have the Titans. Buccaneers at Colts, I have the Colts. Patriots at Giants, I have the Giants. Jaguars at Texans, I have the Jaguars. Browns at Broncos, which I think will really be a good, interesting game, but I have the Browns. Rams at Cardinals, I have the Rams. Chiefs at Raiders, I have the Chiefs. Bills at Eagles, I have the Eagles, but that will probably be a pretty good game. Sunday Night Football, Ravens at Chargers, which could be interesting, probably not. I have the Ravens, and then Monday Night Football, which is Bears and Vikings, I have the Vikings. And that is this week's episode of the podcast. So, let's wrap things up. Thank you so much for watching this week's episode of Benny in the Booth podcast. On next week's episode, we will have NFL Week 12 recap with Week 13 predictions. We will have college football Week 13 recap and possibly a live reaction to the new college football playoff rankings coming off the Ohio State-Michigan game, coming off Auburn, Alabama, and a whole bunch of other rivalry games. Thank you so much for watching and listening to this week's episode. If you are new on YouTube, leave a like, hit the subscribe button, leave a notification on so notified when I go live and or post a new video. If you're new on audio, follow the podcast, leave a review, hit the notification button so notified when I post them there. Thank you so much for watching and listening. I will see you in next week's episode 103. Bye-bye.